What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of your show, the 497,357th ranked podcast when it comes to shows run by students, shows produced by students. It's a fun category. Speaking of those students, we got the Dragon on the ones and twos today. He looks great. He feels great. He's also about to debut his new show with LB, our other head producer, engineer extraordinaire, which we are looking very, very forward to, as they are film gurus, and they have a show. I'm not supposed to tease. Can I tease it? Is it okay if I tease it? Okay, yeah. It is called The Viewing Room, and in The Viewing Room, I was a part of this. I was the producer. I actually, we flipped the roles. I got to produce for them, and the stuff these kids come up with, let me tell you, is very, very, they did Forrest Gump for their first movie, and Dragon, get this, I'd never seen Forrest Gump. It was crazy. I walked in and out a couple of times when they were watching it in this very viewing room, and he had some very good, dare I say, antidotes? Is that a movie term? Antidotes. He had some very good antidotes. So be on the lookout for The Viewing Room coming soon. This is your show, where we hang out each and every weekday, Monday to Friday, from 4 to 5 p.m., going live. And we'd also like to give all the love to our sponsors, including Nickel Plumbing and Heating. Those guys are pretty good at what they do. And many, many more. Our friends over at Aquaman, yeah, monitoring and checking, there they are, of your water situation, sampling, all that stuff, underwater drones. They make sure your water is doing very good for you. And we also have the Maggie Cam, as Margaret is posing perfectly now to pay some bills. There she is. Look at her. She had a tough one today. She snuck out in the rain, and then she wanted to stay out, so we let her stay out for a while. She regretted it, but it was super cute. She realized her mistake and finally came in, and then we had a good cuddle, and now she smells like wet dog. But luckily, when she smells like wet dog, it smells so cute. So we love our Margaret around here. The Maggie Cam for our best pals over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer, Mike and Rochelle and their beautiful puppy Leroy, always there to make your day better. Do not let your puppy take Leroy on any dates, though, because, sorry, guys, or gals, I guess, that puppy is taken. That's Margaret's boyfriend. At least for the next little while. We'll see how it goes. Make it a little rocky. You never know with puppy relations. Love Pet Planet on 8th Street. We love the One Bad podcast every Friday. I was just cutting up a new one today. Very exciting as the boys continue to share their stories. And that sort of leads into what we are doing here today. Tuesday has become Music Day around these parts, and we've turned that into another show that is being rolled out probably by the end of this week, maybe Thursday, I think is what we're looking at for the first episode of the All Outta Angst podcast, which is a show that gets recorded right before this Tuesday edition of your show. And that means I have the two hosts from the All Outta Angst podcast here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him from all the natural products, and you know him from all the bands. It's Uncle Mike and Matt from all the bands.
Hey.
Look at that.
Salut, bon après-midi.
Man, how about that crowd shot? Hey, I like this. Look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
We're looking sharp today, boys.
Looking good.
Well done. Oh, yeah. You look so metal right now, dude. Look at that. So I always get lost in the screen because we have two screens up here. We got one for all the mixing, and then we got the actual program feed. You guys look really good in that program feed.
So bad yourself.
I got my He-Man shirt on. Check this out. I dressed up for the occasion. Look at that.
Very nice.
Apparently that's one of those memes.
Oh.
They said he'd never pull it off.
You know, I've been called a fashion guru many times in my life.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that about you.
This is why, right here. How are you guys
trends.
doing? I've missed you. Uncle Mike, you go first. I'm going to guide this ship. How you doing, Mike?
Doing swell. Can't complain. A little bit of the rain.
Are you a rain guy? You
on
like
the
the rain?
plane. I enjoy the rain. Not too much of it, I guess, but I don't like the heat. So anytime the rain,
Nice.
you know, and I was out mowing the lawn early this morning, having some tractor problems,
Oh boy.
and then nothing major, but
Another day in the life of Uncle Mike.
That's right. And
What kind of tractor are we pulling?
it's a 1979 Case 444.
Ooh.
It's a small little garden tractor I picked up last year.
You see that one over at the Case IH dealers around town?
I didn't. No.
Okay, it's that old, eh?
Yeah. No. Oh, it's
Classic.
It's like I
Classic.
bought. Yeah. I mean, it's older than I am.
I like that.
You know.
You, my friend, are you blind melon on the rain, or are you liking the rain?
I'm loving
There he is.
the rain.
This is good.
I'm like Mike. I don't care for the heat. I like avoiding the sun like the plague. So I'm really enjoying this. You know, I can handle a nice day here or there, but in general, rainy days, they're my jam.
You know,
That being said, though, I think like a Vancouver, that might be too much
Yes.
rain for me. You know, where it's like that's all you get. But
Yeah.
I mean, the garden is loving the rain and then a couple nice days of sun but it's like those low 20s are just great.
Yeah.
Like that's the temperature I like. It starts pushing to mid 20s, high 20s. That gets a little too warm for me.
see, and you guys don't even have that much chunk on you. Like I was a fat guy for a long time, basically until I quit drinking. I lost like 60 pounds. But when you're a fat guy and you run a high heat, yeah, man, it's not just the heat that gets to you, like mentally, but even right down to the rash you get in your thighs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that thigh rash. Oh, it's a tough one.
It's a chub rub.
Yeah.
That's what that sounds like the
I
term.
think
Yeah.
that's
I think
All
it is
right.
the term now.
Well,
yeah.
there you go. Coin in terms is what we do. And check out this segue, fellas. We talk about the rain. Rain has been used as a trope. Is that the right term? Trope? For numerous songs over the years, be it Rainy Day People. We were talking about Gordon Lightfoot earlier,
Mhm.
the greatest storyteller in the history of mankind, and many other songs. What that Missy Elliott has a song called "You Can't Stop the Rain."
Oh yeah.
CCR has like 100 songs about raining.
Yeah.
Love the rainy night.
Blame it on the rain.
Dude.
Which I mean, it was a song, but maybe not. Is that Milli Vanilli?
Yeah.
Blame it on the rain.
Yeah, yeah. Blame it on the stars. Man, whatever happened to Milli Vanilli? What happened to those guys? Didn't they actually try to do a song after everyone found out they couldn't sing?
I think so, and then it was even worse than the first one.
Spoiler alert, they were right.
I like how nowadays almost every band has overdubs and all this stuff, and that's a thing. They were just ahead of their time.
That's it.
That's true. That's true.
Reality in life. We've talked about it so many times, and your show falls right under that category of being one of the very few that goes live every day and is always real. Like you're not going to get anything pre-produced, or not going to anything made up here, because we strive to give this show a live feel. We want you to feel like anything can happen at any time, and that carries over to, as most people who consume this show watch. Not live, as you can see, there's usually like one or two live people going, but it's an opportunity for us to record a live show, which gives it the live feel, which then you at home feel like you're watching a live show while it's recorded. And that's the beauty of being live, because nobody does it anymore. And we focused on that a lot, and the importance of being real in, like you said, a world that is so fake. Every single place you look, you turn, everything's fake. There's such little reality left for us as far as things we consume. Even in foods. Dare I say foods, man? You're a food guy.
Mm-hmm.
Food ain't even
I
real
eat food.
anymore.
I
Yeah.
eat food.
How real?
It's
Well,
delicious.
you probably eat the organic real stuff. 'cause
Well,
you're
I
Mr.
mean,
Uncle
I
Mike.
try to eat well. I mean, the garden is producing now, so we go around
that
with the
rain.
kids. Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing. And we'll grab a little kale, a little lettuce leaf, a little spinach leaf, a little arugula, a little chive, roll it up in a nice little doodad, and it's a little snack on the go. Man, my kids love it. Just wait till the friggin' strawberries and the carrots start producing. Boy, oh boy, I tell you.
I eat pizza pops. What do you eat? You guys eat good, actually. I've seen some pictures.
We do eat quite
Your
well.
lovely
like,
wife is
me
a
and
hell of
Aaron,
a cook,
We kind
yeah.
of like initially met on like making food, and that was a thing. I think
Love
I made her
that.
like some stuffed mushrooms, and then
Ooh.
but yeah, we like cooking everything from shepherd's pies and lasagnas to like we'll make curries and stir fries,
Yeah.
and we,
Yeah.
we like using real ingredients.
I realized I was in my own lane here when it comes to eating. I'm the only one who eats like garbage.
Well, I eat like garbage too, but you know,
Not from
that's
what I
more-
just heard.
That's more when we go out or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's a good way. I don't eat like garbage. I just eat like I'm always going out.
Yeah.
And I mean, for a lot, like, I mean, I used to eat whatever. Like, I just did not discriminate kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I got older and started to have some, like, issues with shit. And they're like, oh, if you cut this out, you'd probably feel better. And it does make the difference, you know? It's
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
learning
try.
that as my
I
body
try.
starts to fall apart. On
Yeah.
Saturday, I ordered some banh mi's from Frankie's
Ooh,
Banh Mi's. I don't like pate. I didn't even know what a banh mi was. And then I just got handed one and tasted it, and it was amazing. I
friggin'
found out what was
delicious.
inside
Oh.
it. I was like, I don't like any of these things. Why is this happening?
But together, they're delicious.
Funny how that
That's-
works. I
yep.
ordered 3 of those, and I ate those in the afternoon. And then the viewing room boys came over and recorded their show, so we had to have a wrap party. So we ordered 3 more pizzas and dry ribs and some cheesy bread, and I ate all that too. That was my Saturday. Tough goal.
I don't know what to say about that.
I am gaining more weight. I was dangerous. I was sub 200 for a little while. I hadn't been under 200 pounds in probably like 25 years, maybe more. And then I got below 200, so I was like, "That's it. Nope, I'm not doing that."
You
So I've
don't
been
want
eating
the
like this for about 2
sunken
weeks
eyes.
now.
Yeah.
Well, I look
Starts to look
gross.
unnatural
Yeah.
at that point.
So you'll be happy to know that by my sweet move on Saturday, I think I gained 3 pounds alone.
Gains.
There you go.
So we're back.
Back to
We're
where you need
way
to be.
over 200 pounds. I put this funny how long, because I had to retire it for a while because I was too fat for it, and then I got just the right, and now I'm too fat for it again. So I know I have to lose a little bit more. But either way, we're making gains. Is that proper?
I think so.
I'm trying a lot of new terms today. I gotta stop. This is my
You are.
term.
You're
guys.
really
Check
hip.
So before Tuesday's live show here on your show, the 3 of us sit down and we record the podcast, which is called the All Out Angst podcast. It's a lot of fun. These guys have spent their whole lives in music, and we have so many different thoughts and processes and so many different but the same views on a lot of things. And during our second episode that we recorded today, we decided we are going to write a song, as Matt from all the bands put together this amazing little punk rock. It's like a poppy punk rock song. It's got some, I guess, some touches of some Lagwagon in there and some Blink-182 in there. All the old poppy punkness that we love so much. And I genuinely feel like you caught exactly what I was hoping you would catch, because the goosebumps go up, and you know what I like, and
Like
you
I
nailed
said,
it.
I'm not reinventing the wheel here.
Nope.
I wanted 3 ideas, and
Yep.
I kind of in my mind had that like it's got to have that Lagwagon Fat Record
I love
sound. So it's never going to be too far from No Effects Lagwagon. And then I've always had a soft spot for Blink-182, so
Yep.
it's going to be. But yeah, it's just like the classic chord progressions that all the pop punk songs have. That's what we need.
That's it. And then we basically through the show, what I wanted to do, me being Mr., just dive in, it'll work out. And it's so fun to contrast that with guys that are perfectionists in their crafts. They come out like, yeah, we're going to write a song today, boys. We got like the soul of the song. Now let's put some paint on it. And both you guys are like, whoa. Like, I don't, you sure? I'm like, nah, trust me, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah, we
And
looked at
even-
each other. We're like,
Little surprise, little taken
Okay, so
off guard, you know.
And for the first little bit of the recording, that's how it went, until I realized, and this is sort of something that I like to think I'm a little bit good at, is changing on the fly and realizing that you can still write a song without writing a song.
And I think that's where we saw, or at least I saw, kind of growth in that. Whereas you
Yes.
first came in, I thought, like, holy shit,
Your
we gotta,
guys'
we gotta
faces were
come up with
hilarious.
lyrics.
You
Like,
guys were just
Yeah.
like,
you're expecting a completed song by the end of, a half an hour.
My thing is like even coming up with the main melodies that you're going to be singing. All 3 of us are going to have a different version of like where you start singing,
Yeah.
what the melody is going to be. So I was in my mind thinking, oh boy, this is gonna be a cluster. But I like how we focused. We just wanted lyrical themes.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
broke down. This is the verse. This is that.
And I'm gonna share with our viewer this. So we came up with, and I'm really proud of this. Like, we had a half hour. Again, hopefully this Thursday we will be releasing the first episode, and then maybe we'll do 2 episodes for the first one.
Yeah.
Apparently, Network Ryan likes to do that, where you give 2 off the bat. I think he learned it from like Network TV or something, somewhere along the networks. Network, right? Yeah, that's a thing. That's a. I
Okay.
just want to say trope now. I think. What does trope mean? What's a trope? common occurrence. So I'm not using
Okay.
it proper in any way. That's good. Okay. So we talked about things we like and things that we would like to incorporate. And this is basically our rundown. And we can just touch on this because I think there's a lot to go on here as far as writing music goes. And I'm, again, so grateful that you guys are here. And thank you for being a part of this family because it means so much. And I've loved you guys both for so long, and you guys know that. But just to be able to sit down and actually do stuff like this feels so cool. You know, because like you spend your whole life, and we talked about it, and it's actually part of the things in this song, just being down and hating everything and not being able to do anything about it and just going through the motions. And that's sort of how the idea of the All Out of Angst podcast came about. How it got named was because that's sort of where we're at. But then by the end of our journey, we figured out we might have a little bit of angst
Yeah.
still left in the tank.
There's still some down there.
Yeah. So number one on our list of things we want to touch on, and this first song we are going to write, is harmony. We've talked about harmonies here a million times. And there's just something so special the second that second layer of vocals comes in on a vocal you already love and makes it grow into something totally different.
And I like how when it's done properly, you don't even know that there's a harmony there. And then when you
Exactly.
isolate the vocals, you're like, oh, there
Oh,
is two there.
look
at
That's
that.
why it sounds cool. Like, again, like with Bad Religion, I never knew what I loved about Greg Graffin's voice, and then it's like it's the vocal harmonies.
Vocal harmonies and the guitar harmonies, like we talked about the Maiden harmonies before.
Yep.
Like just the way things can be different but then come together.
But yeah, with any of those harmonies, like you were saying, can there be too many? And I'm
Yeah.
saying, yeah, if you just harmonize the whole thing, it doesn't hit as hard. But
You're
I
just a choir now,
yeah,
bro. You're
but-
just
but yeah.
singing like LB.
But I love when it just comes in kind of halfway through, or like halfway through even a line or something. It just hits so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It can add a whole nother texture, like a whole nother feel to a song.
Mm-hmm.
So the importance of harmonies. We're definitely gonna have harmonies. We don't know. It's not gonna be the whole way through because we did, like you said, decide that you can't have too many. Second on our list, as we make our way through writing our first punk rock song, I call this one the Murtaugh rule. We're getting too old for this shit. Too old for this shit. Now this plays into basically, we went on. This one made the show so good. I'm very proud of our recording. We talked about how, we are getting too old for this shit. We got kids like Dragon over here who are ruining the English language by sending 3 letters and that being a full sentence that people understand. And we talked about in our own lives, like Uncle Mike, you were talking about how you sort of leaned into it a little bit by shortening words, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not, sending these 3-letter texts
Yeah,
to people.
it's not code. It's still it's just the normal word maybe shortened, so
yeah,
it's
like
not
perf.
right.
For
Yeah.
perfect.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
you know, yeah.
First.
First.
There you go.
So we got kids out here ruining the English language, and we got phones. We talked about phones and how they're ruining everyone's lives, and we actually learned that all 3 of us really tried very hard to
We
stay off
made it
phones.
so far, like
It's
so
crazy,
long.
man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you think about how much easier life was when you didn't have that phone yelling at you. And then it got to the point with once I did get the phone because work makes you get a phone. And that's also how work made you get a Facebooking machine and a Twittering machine. They force you to do this stuff, so you end up doing it. And then you go in with the wrong attitude because you hate it. And then if you're like me, you get your phone, but you put it on silent and it never rings, which is great how you want it. But then if you have a partner, they don't like that. Like, turn your phone, and I always use the excuse, I got a radio show. I can't have a phone going off in the middle of the radio. Could have went off a million times. It doesn't matter at all, but that was one of my excuses to say I don't have to have this thing yelling at me.
Yeah.
So having that, like even then, you still get in the phone life, but you're still trying to put your own like, oh, get out of here type of thing to it, and then people get pissed off at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I agree. I don't like how now you got a phone, so now you're expected that anyone you're at everyone's beck and call,
Yep.
this or that. So like I hate the phone for that, but man, do I use it a lot. Like
Oh,
how
yeah.
I just every time I make a song or send you something, I
Yeah.
quickly just get it onto the phone, can send it over to you, and it's like on the show within seconds or
Literally.
whatever. Like that stuff's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I was telling you guys about my tennis elbow, man. I have the worst tennis elbows now because I spend my days on the chair just doing this. And
Mhm.
it's like emails and it's texts and it's orders. I'm making orders for stuff we need for the studio. And It's got to the point where I can't move my arms down.
I thought you were playing Nintendo Master System there. Do you remember some of the games how your thumb would just burn?
yeah.
You know, like when you had
Got a nice calloused up on the
Man.
top of the thumb there.
I had so many issues. I went Duffer's game room.
Mm-hmm.
Duffer's game room.
Oh yeah.
Where you walk in, it was this old place downtown, and they had like 30 different arcade cabinets. But instead of putting your quarters in, you just push a red button. And you push the button, and we had a birthday party there, and I was going so hard that I locked my finger. So my finger was locked like this from gaming too much, and I couldn't like unbend it for like an hour. I had to like work it until I could get it working again because we gamed so hard at Duffer.
I'm just from back in the day. Was there a Busters? Is that a thing? Do you remember that? Or they had like Super Nintendo consoles and stuff. I don't know. Maybe not.
Busters. Well, there's Dave and Buster's, which is huge in the
not,
States.
Not
but
thinking that.
no.
Anyways,
Well, I'd like to know about the history of gaming in our city. Because like the arcades, like we had Huggy Bear.
Huggy Bear,
Huggy
yeah.
Bear was
Command
the go-to.
HQ.
Command HQ.
Yeah.
Was Command HQ, that was at Lawson? Is that right?
there was one in.
Was there one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that's a long way for us to go.
Yep.
I know
Use a bike over to
we would
Markham
we would go there, and then my parents would take us to Hair Affair, and I would get myself a nice Caesar cut or a bowl cut with the undercut.
Nice.
You know, man, it was good times.
The
Good
Caesar
times.
cut. My mom always cut my hair. I never had to go to a hairdresser. I went one time in my life, and it broke her heart. I went for my grade 8 grad. I went to the local Avalon stylist, and there was no difference. My mom could have did it. I felt bad after.
Yep.
Let her down. Sorry, Mom. I apologize for that. Never again, though.
Yeah, I feel like when we started cutting corners, my dad, picked up that he was the hairdresser or whatever, and it's pretty similar to like sock cut, where it certainly
Oh,
does
yeah.
suck.
Oh yeah.
It sucks. Well, it cuts.
Yeah, I had one. My dad was definitely not a barber or hairdresser by any means. We had a friend come in from out of town. She's like, "Oh, I'll give you a nice summer cut," and she butchered like there was chunks out of everything. And of course, my dad, being he can fix it all. He's like, "Oh, I'll fix it up for you," and he kind of just started shaving it, and it just kind of kept going up like this. So it was basically like a penis top haircut. I don't know, a mushroom. I don't know. It was something. It was shaved around here with just the top piece, and I've got this weird cowlick in the front, so it was short enough that the cowlick was there, and it just shaved because she had gone down,
She
down
got
to the
in there.
skin, and she's like,
Yeah.
well, and he's like, I got to even it up. And so we kept evening it up and kept going closer and closer, and it was I was called Penis Head for months.
Things have been set in place that can't be undone.
Yeah,
I would
always remember that
love
one.
To go to a barber and just be like, yes, please. I would like the penis cut.
Give me
sir.
the penis. Give me
Just
the
make my
penis.
head look like a wiener.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Man, arcades. I love arcades. I miss them.
I really miss the arcade machines in the 7-Elevens, and so, there would be like a
Yes.
Street Fighter 2 and like something like
Broadway
man,
South,
that was
Street
awesome.
Fighter 2. And I suck at fighting games too. Like I could never play fighting games, and it's sort of I was always upset because they were all the rage at the time. Old man Gary
Yeah.
talk,
All the rage.
Street Fighters and the
Mortal
Mortal Kombat
Kombat,
machines, which were all the
what
rage
was
at the time.
The combo one, Killer Combo.
Oh man, that's a great
Killer
question.
Instinct.
Yeah. Killer Instinct. And they all made their ways to your home platform. Which was a lot of fun. Video games. We Uncle Brando and I, shout out to Uncle Brando from the CCO podcast. As we're talking about all the shows we're rolling out, we also have Brando and Gary Get Good at Games, which is basically sort of a highlight show from our Twitch streams that we've started. And it's also a show about learning about the old systems and all that stuff. And we actually got LB's dad, who is an absolute legend when it comes to anything tech. Like he has a whole basement full of old systems. And he's going to bring in a random system here every now and then. We're going to fire up these old games like the Colecos and the
Intellivision.
televisions and all that shit.
You'll
Yeah.
have to
Ataris.
get Justin Bender, the guy that was in Untimely Demise,
Yeah.
and I took over his place in Into Eternity, and he produces all the Ravenwitch stuff and all the Untimely stuff. He's just good, the best guy ever.
Great
but
dude.
he's a great dork, and he created a video game called 0 Hour,
Shut up.
and it's like
He
kind of
made
like
a game?
Yeah, it's 0 Hour, and it's actually got an Untimely Demise 8-bit version, song at the
Sweet.
start of it or whatever.
Question.
But yeah, we got to get Justin on that podcast or that show.
Can you set that up?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll talk to
Perfect.
Justin, because that would be sweet.
This family, this family of ours. I hate to we'll get back to the list here, but this group of people, Like, I cannot stress enough how proud I am to be surrounded by guys like you, by guys like Royal Anders, who's, I'm assuming he's over there, bud? Hey, my man. To have that guy showing up here.
No
to
big
have
deal.
our friend Brooksy, Wendy Brooks Media, showing up here, taking care of all of our social media. And we were talking earlier about our buddy Steve, who we're going to be getting on your show here very soon. Like, when one guy comes into the circle, like LB was a perfect example of that. LB came in the circle, he brought in Dragon. And when you bring in these different people, like I got you guys coming in, and you guys lead to other people coming in. I got Royal Andy coming in, and there's always a guy for something. And it's a great example, right? Just telling that story. You got this guy who's
like,
an
oh, yeah,
absolute legend for
he-
something that has nothing to do with video games. Like, oh yeah, he can come on and do this stuff. And that's another guy that could potentially join the team, which is so cool to me.
But yeah, like you say, you are who you hang out with, and you've got such a high caliber of like friends, not only in their talent, but you know the content of their character. So like you bring in a new guy, and it's like, oh, he knows 10 guys that are cool and talented as well.
And that should not be lost. You make a very good point there. A lot of people would just bring in dudes, and this is such a unique atmosphere. And I say it all the time. This is the exact region. There's no region. The exact reason. There's no politics and there's no religion in here, because that basically eliminates the dicks. You got no dicks here, because you just have people of a like mind that just want to hang out, be kind to each other, make the world a better place, which is what we're all about. So if you are in this building, then you've already been accepted by all of us. And that's sort of like the gatekeeping that we do, is if someone wants to bring someone in, it's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I would run it past you guys. It's like, it's like our family. We like, this guy's like, yeah, I don't know, he's kind of a piece of shit. If he's a piece of shit, guess what? He's not coming in.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what they could bring as far as quality of content.
There have been times exactly like that where it's like, this guy's a really big deal and he'd be great for the show and you can make money. And Network Ryan loves when you say make money, to the point where it's like, get out of here, Network Ryan. But you look at that and you say, yeah, you can make some money. That's great. But at what cost? Like, I don't want someone coming in here being an asshole and then being associated with us, then we're all assholes all of a sudden. Like, you have to be very careful with who you attach yourself. I guess.
Billy Bob Thornton's your, Robert Downey Jr. Are you talking Robert Downey Jr. 90s or Robert Downey Jr. now? We don't know those people.
Oh, man. What was is that Billy Madison? I think it's Billy Madison, where it's asking Norm Macdonald whether he'd do a dude or like a lady.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Burt Reynolds, I think it might be like Burt Reynolds then, or well, definitely Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's good.
You can't even buy your own clothes. I got this one. It's from Frank.
Frank shirt. It says Frank shirt. I do that all. The Wing King, one of our favorite people, the great Wing King, he drops Frank shirt jokes all the time. So whenever I see him, I say Frank shirt, and I lift it up. He always has a good laugh. Getting back to the song that we're writing as we continue on the Tuesday edition of your show, which has been dubbed the Music Edition, because we talk about music. We record the All Out of Banks podcast before the show, then we come on and talk about it. And today, we were writing a song without really writing a song, as we got lots of notes for us to go over before we do anything lyric-wise. So far, we got harmonies are very important, but not too many harmonies. The theme of we're getting too old for this shit, I call it the murtawing. We're going to murtaw a bit. Relatability. So relatability in music is something that we all agreed was important if you want to have something that hits. I believe you brought up relatability, young man. Is that true?
I did, yes.
Tell us why you think relatability is so important.
I think much like in any, art form, I guess, whether it's movies or a book, the more connection you can have with that character or the story, you feel it a little bit more.
Because you can relate.
Because you can relate to it.
Hence
Maybe
the
you're
name.
tying it to an experience. And maybe it's a direct tie to, like, wow, this is, word for word how this experience happened to me. Or maybe it's more metaphorical where, in a way it happened to you, or a similar situation,
I also like when a song isn't relatable to you, and then you end up growing into the song 10 years down the line. Like, it's funny how. Or like,
right.
things
Much
like
fun
something-
anymore to me
like,
now that I quit the drink.
right.
or something like that.
You didn't understand it, right?
Yeah.
And then you listen to it, and I find that too with a lot of, like I said a little while ago, I found all my CDs, my CD booklets of things, and you start going through all these CDs that maybe you listen to some of the songs through streaming platforms and whatever, but maybe you haven't sat down and listened to the whole album. So those chart toppers, kind of got forgotten about. And then you listen to them now, and you hear it differently than you did 20 years ago, right? And because it's maybe now it's more relatable, or maybe that last relationship, or now that you've had kids, you listen to it, or you understand it more. Or
How many people, and I said this on the recording too, how many people do you know that say this artist or this band got me through the hardest times of my life? This song helped me get through the worst experience of my being. Like, people don't just relate, they like sort of restructure their entire life. Like, they restart themselves as a human through these songs.
And like,
It's
how
so
cool
magical.
is that you can be part of, like, if you're someone that created that artwork and you got someone through something, like, that's one of the coolest things you can do, other than like being a dad or something, which
Right.
is it's pretty sweet.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you said it perfectly when you talked about learning the meanings. Like, growing up, No Effects and Propaganda are my two favorite bands, like, of all time. Right there with Oswald's Walking Connection, OWC.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice!
And-
I'm wearing my OWC shirt then next show.
Nice.
I'm so happy.
It's an I'm with stupid one.
Of course.
So I'm gonna probably have to sit on that.
Yeah.
side.
You
Well,
will
it
be
is your
here.
turn,
This
yeah.
will be
Yeah,
your
yeah,
spot
that's
next
right.
So
week.
with that, like, growing up, like, young Gary had no idea what these guys were singing about. I knew every word to every song
Right.
without knowing what any of it meant. And then all of a sudden, when you're just sitting there one day and you're singing along like you always do, and then the words start to have meaning, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you realize, holy cow, like, the government is not cool, dude. Like, how are people letting these governments do this stuff?
Right.
And all of a sudden, I become this political person who I hate, because I've been very strict about no politics and no religion, and that's all these guys sing about. And so, in my own little way, it helped me realize why I was so against all those things without knowing it before. It was being fed into my brain through my favorite tasty licks and my
Yeah.
harmonies and all the stuff that I go out and get drunk to with the boys. So now I'm like this huge political professor in my own mind, but clearly I have no idea what's going on. So it's a weird place to be in, because I feel like I've been taking, like, politics 101 since I was like 13, but I know nothing about actual politics. I
For-
just know what I hate.
Yeah, for me, I always just took out of it that I've got to be very skeptical of everything,
Mhm.
very discerning. Don't trust everything. at
Question
fa- yeah.
everything.
I think that's not a bad way to be.
No, I
I
think
think that's about as close as we're going to get to politics, right?
Yeah, that's,
That's
yeah,
right.
Let's,
fellas.
let's,
That's well
let's
done.
reel her back here. man.
That's well done. And that relatability is a big one, because it works into our next one of connection, forming a connection with the listener. And connection is basically a byproduct of relatability, I think, right? It's almost the same thing as in you can relate to it and you can connect to it.
Mhm.
So that's in there as well. And I sort of have all three of these in a nice heart. I'm gonna put a heart. So we got relatability, connection, and authenticity. Authenticity, so important in music, because you can go out there, as you know, as a lot of people do, and I like, just off the top of my head, I can think of hip hop artists who go out and, like, yeah, I'm shooting guns and I'm robbing people and I'm doing all this and that. And then you see them in their mansion hanging out playing, like, Mario Brothers. Like, dude, that's not very authentic. So if you're writing something, you better be willing to put your name on it. I
Mhm.
think is sort of the idea behind authenticity. Does that sort of sound all right?
I would agree. Yeah, and I think we're pretty easy to be authentic.
I think we've,
I
out
think
of all the
it's-
people I know, the three of us are pretty good at staying true to ourselves.
whether that's
I
yeah.
work at the dump.
whether or not people like it, we're authentic about it. But
Well, I think it's important, because everyone, like, people pleasing seems so rampant nowadays. I guess not even nowadays. There's always a certain group of people who only get joy out of pleasing others. And I would put myself in that category, as I like to think I'm a giver, not a taker. Like, I get great joy out of seeing my
Oh,
friends
yeah,
succeed.
you've
That's my
always-
goal for all of this, is to see my friends succeed. I don't ever want to be in the forefront. I don't need any, like, oh, good job, pats on the back or any of that. But I will fight to the death for my boys to get those pats on the back, because you deserve them. And I see that. So my sort of authentic me is the guy who wants to see everyone else succeed.
for sure, and I think you can, being a people pleaser and being as long as it's authentic, then I think it There's not a problem with that. Like
mine to the
if
point.
you were BSing and building things up, and you know,
Yeah,
and
just
I
blowing smoke.
right,
yeah.
like I know some people that'll tell you the world and they have nothing to back it up. And it's like, dude, why even bother? Like, do you think I mean, I think it's because they think it makes them look better, right? And it's a way for them to try to
Yeah.
get ahead
And just
in their own heads,
So
right?
a consistency of character. You're want nice for me in front of me, but make sure like that.
Right.
That's actually how you feel.
Exactly, and you're going to actually make an effort to do it. I'm also not going to say something if I can't do it, right? Or if I can't, I'm not going to promise you the world and
Yeah.
deliver nothing. I might promise you a little bit, and I'll get it to you, but I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. And
I've had numerous moments in my life where I've met strangers, and be it like in my work life, more specifically at the old workplace, and new people would come in, and I would treat them how I want to be treated. That's how I do things. It just so happens that sort of turns out to be like someone who cares about you, because I would hope that people I'm interacting with would care about me. So I put that on you because that's what I want for me. And that's sort of how my process works. And I've had numerous people who've come into the station and after about 2 or 3 months would say, I thought you were just full of shit. I thought you were just putting it on, being nice to everybody and blah, blah, blah. And it just didn't seem real because in a workplace like this, in a world that we live in today, it's not possible to be like that. And then I would say, well, like, how do you feel now? And numerous people have responded with, I can tell now that you actually are who you are, and I apologize for thinking that. Like, they would go out of their way to apologize to me for thinking I was this like fake wannabe nice person.
It's so funny that that's people's natural.
That's my point.
Reaction.
Why
it's
does-
like
Yep.
they're very skeptical that
Yeah.
why is he being nice?
To
That's not right.
To the point where they're like upset with you. Like I would get like
You're
treated
fake.
shitty because of that. Yeah,
Right.
it's like I don't know what else to say. Like you want to defend yourself, but you don't even have to because you're just being yourself. There's nothing to defend. And if you take it as in that's somebody that's like this and that's on you, and that sucks for me because that's not what I would like for you to think of me. But at the same time, if that's how you're going to think, there's nothing I can do about it.
right.
Yeah, I always felt like, again, I think I had mentioned this on one of the earlier shows, but how your old place, it was kind of the mix of the
Yeah,
jocks and then
Fourth
kind of
Street.
like the musician scumbags or whatever. And
Lots of skids rolling
yeah,
through there. That's
but
for
yeah,
sure.
I just always I felt comfortable there, which was weird because at that time I was maybe a little bit more skeptical of people into sports and stuff because I just there was some bully jocks
Of
and
course. Yeah.
but I just always felt at your place that it was like a comfortable zone and everyone was genuinely nice. So yeah, I don't know what you did or what, but yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying.
It's legit. Just treating people the way I wanted to be treated. I would never go into any, I guess, interaction or any meeting thinking, oh, this guy's a piece of shit or this girl sucks. I don't want anything to do with you. I'd always go in and genuinely care. And over the years, it feels like people have just stopped doing that. And that was sort of my wake-up call when I asked one girl specifically. I was like, well, what made you think that? And she said, pretty much her exact words were, nobody cares like you care in this business, is what I was told. Nobody actually goes out of their way to care about someone else. And her point was that everyone was in business for themselves, and she was just not used to somebody actually caring about not just how they're doing at work, but their life outside of work, like the human being aspect. And I was just like, that breaks my heart. That's a view that lots of people take.
Mm-hmm.
I think that nobody cares like you care could be a possible lyric that could make its way in there.
We continue writing as our list is growing, boys. This is going to be a real banger, and I'm very excited as well because this is slowly not just a content creation studio as far as podcasts and shows go and Twitch streams, but it's also slowly turning into a bit of a record label as we have the Abyss resuscitating his career in this studio. We got a punk rock song that we are going to be vocalizing, and we have so many more opportunities for people who are doing some sort of music. This is a place where you can create that music, which makes me so happy.
And I like that it's not the way I would normally create music. So it just gets you out of the comfort zone, and you're getting the collaborations, you're getting different ideas. And I feel like once we've, put this first song out, I'll have leveled up in many degrees.
Great
which
way
is
of putting it.
pretty cool.
Leveling up is what we are all about here on your show and at the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. If you want to level up, check us out. If you want to level up with us, just head on over to dufferinave.com.
How is he holding it?
Ba-doop-boop.
Hold on. Get some. Get in there. Can you reach it? Yeah, look at that. That website right there is your doorway to making life better, be it advertising, sponsoring, creating, whatever it is. Our main man, Royal Anders, put it all together. And I would never say this if I didn't mean it, because I hate everything, websites, computers, social medias, all that stuff. I am so proud of this website that he created because it's so simple. I said, hey, just put it on there, and then you just scroll down and then click on what you need. He's like, you got it, and that's exactly what it is. So I love you, buddy. You're an absolute genius. Thanks, Gary. Love you too. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
You're the best, bro.
There it
Absolute
is.
best. As we continue on our list of themes going into this song that we are writing, I'm pretty sure that no one's ever really sat down outside of like workshops. I guess there's a lot of workshops out there where guys get together and do a song and write this and that. So our list continues. Inside the heart of relatability, connection, and authenticity. And then we get down to our next one, which is metaphors. Metaphors. Now, who came up with metaphors? Do you remember who put that one down?
Well, I think I put it out there.
I think that was
Okay.
you, yeah.
That's
Lean in a little bit better. There you go. I know I'm sort of blocking you, but I need you to get right on that mic because I want to know the importance of metaphors in music.
They're just, again, if they're relatable, it's a story, and then it gives you something to, get that imagery with or whatever. Just
Yeah, it's like saying the thing you want to say without saying the thing you want to
Yeah.
say in another way.
I don't know why I like them, I just do.
You don't have to have a reason. That's the whole point of this entire process is that you don't need to have a reason to do anything. Everybody does stuff differently. And that is why this is going to work so well. Because metaphors, it plays right up there in, again, connecting with your listener without being in their face. Right? As in, you're saying this is what's happening here, but you're not saying exactly what's happening. It's just like sort of, I guess, being not preachy. Is that sort of a way to think of
Yeah,
it?
and I just find like metaphors tend to because I do like cliches within music. Like country music is great at doing that,
Yeah.
where they'll use it, and they've got some of the most relatable lyrics out there. So I think with a lot of metaphors, we've heard them before. So it's a saying that you've heard, and in a lyric, it's cool because then you can immediately sing along once
You know the
Right.
words.
Yeah.
So that maybe that's another thing that we need to put down. I don't know about knowing the words, but using words. Like, do you ever use that when you write? Is it using words that you know would be catchy for people to sing along to?
I like that. I've always felt like I like really, really heavy music and stuff, but I'm somebody after a show, if I can't hear a melody in my head after I came out of the show, it wasn't really the greatest show for me. It might have been impressive, like I watched people essentially lift weights on their guitars and
Right.
stuff, but
Yeah.
when I leave, a show and I've got a couple lyrics in my head or whatever, and then they become earworms, like to me, that's an example of a good song and good songwriting.
Hell yeah. Any thoughts on metaphors?
Uh,
I say this because I don't even remember what we said about metaphors. That's why I'm putting it on you guys.
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, it's the way to say that, like, you're making that comparison
Without
without
right
saying the thing.
Yeah, like
you
we
know?
said, not being right on the nose. Where I got up and I had a shower today, and then
That's
Right.
what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then-
Right.
Yeah.
That's not very cool because everybody does that. But if you get up and hop in the shower and then you find that your wife is in there with like your ski instructor, now you got a story.
That's again not really a metaphor, but it's just,
That was the example I used on the show before. Not for a metaphor, just for making the story
Just for
a little more entertaining.
Yep.
Yeah, what's it? You pizzaed when you should have French fried.
There you go. Yep.
Skiing 101.
Yep.
Okay, next on the list, I have F phones. So our hatred for phones is something that we would like to touch on as I am of the very firm belief that phones have single-handedly not just ruined my entire body to the point where my tennis elbows are falling off because I do this while I work. That's all I do is send out emails and texts, and I can't feel my arms anymore, and I don't know what tennis elbows are, but I don't like them. I don't want anything to do with them.
But look at those forearms.
This one's broken.
Shaped
This
so
one's
nicely.
actually crooked, so that doesn't help either. It's even worse
Oh yeah.
because I busted that guy up. But phones bringing down, it is bringing down society in many, many ways, but that's also another like cliche overused thing. But our dislike for phones has to be in here somewhere.
I think that's a good. Again, like we don't need to justify why we don't like them, but
Yep.
I do feel like how we have the show and we kind of bounce ideas off each other, and that's when usually the best stuff comes from like a good conversation of just human beings. But
Yep.
as soon as these come into play, it takes over, and now you're basically just reading off the phone, and
Ugh.
the ideas aren't really coming from your
Yep.
mind, and the flow of the conversation doesn't work.
I feel like phones have ruined how we go about everyday life. And like the examples are all out there from being at a sporting event watching your kid, and you look around and all of a sudden all the parents on their phone and they should be cheering on their kid at their event, and it's like, oh, rah, 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 yeah, good job, rah, rah, rah. And like we were talking about how heartbreaking that would be for your child if they then accomplish something great in the sport they're doing, and they look up and see mom or dad like, oh man, People Magazine's really pissed off at Jennifer today, like I guess maybe what we could look at is how do we eliminate that? That could be a part of the.
So within the song, we can kind of give a solution of where we
couple
see
lines at
where
least,
we
yeah.
see some hope, or
Yeah.
Some tips.
We're not in the business of bringing people down. You have to remember that. We're in the business of bringing people up. So this is going to be an uplifting song. So we have to establish what's bringing people down with the conclusion of what can bring you back.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's sort of the story arc. What do you think of that?
I like that. And if we don't achieve that, at least the melodies have that major key that's friendly, so it sounds happy.
That's it. Well, it's going to be happy in the end. There's no way we're writing a song without a happy ending because we're not going to be one of those sad songs.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got
This
time
isn't
for
an
that.
emo song here, folks. We're not writing an emo.
But I'm not against wearing eyeliner.
No, of course not.
There
How
you go.
good to be?
Do you guys ever have like phantom phone vibrations? Have you ever?
Phantom
Oh, yeah,
So
I
like
know
you think
yeah,
your phone is
yes,
vibrating
yes.
and you go to check in your pocket, it's not even in your pocket.
Please tell
Is
me
that-
what that is.
So
Absolutely.
like your phone's in your
I
pocket.
know what it is.
Oh,
but
okay.
Tell me why it happens.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't have any
yeah, I
actual
mean, I really
science
thought
to
you
it.
had
No,
this
I don't
in-
actually have any
Yeah.
science to it.
Excited.
I mean, I'm sure it's a psychological thing where you think you should be, because we're so connected to our phones. You're expecting a phone call from your lady, from work. You're expecting a message. You want to see your new Facebook post light up with a whole bunch of likes. So you're
Ugh.
waiting for that notification to tell you. And then so you create it in your mind, and it's some nerves and some muscular things. I have no idea why. I'm not a doctor. But I didn't know it was a thing. And then I mentioned it to someone. They're like, oh, no, it's a thing. Like, it's not just you. It happens to
me,
normal people
yeah,
too.
at work, and I just thought it was heart palpitation.
Right.
but- well, maybe it is.
Yeah. I just had to
Mix
get
of both.
another thing that phones have created. This.
No, I was
this,
going to write. I was trying to figure out what to write down with that. What do you call it? Phone fake vibes?
Sure,
Fake vibrations?
Fake vibes, yeah.
Fake
Phantom
vibration. Phantom was the one.
Phantom vibrations, phantom notifications.
Yeah, phantom vibrations. I'm writing that down. Hey, Dragon, do you know anything about that stuff? Phantom phone vibrations? Thanks, bud.
Well, see,
Thanks for letting us know.
And I guess the one reason I thought about it is like it causes. I mean, having a phone causes me anxiety
Yep.
sometimes because you're just like, I want to be outside doing work, and my hands, I'm digging in the dirt and shoveling shit and whatever, and I have this phantom vibration. It's like, oh fuck, now I gotta take my phone out, wipe my hands off so I don't wreck my phone, and
there's
try to
nothing
pull
there.
it out, and there's nothing there. What the hell? I just washed my hands for no reason.
Lay
you know?
it on. Dragon's going to tell us what
Oh.
this is. Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh, no.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
That would never happen to me. My phone doesn't ding. No. Do you still have a dinger? You have a ringer that you... Dang, you guys. I would love to... You know how like trends always start on social media and stuff? Someone's like, ooh, it's this trend. Ooh, it's that trend. And you do this. And I've hated all of those things and all like the challenges and all that. No time for it. Like, and that, I think that goes back to all the music I listen. Like, stop being sheep. Stop listening to these... Slow down. Not political, not religious. I would love for a challenge or a trend or whatever to start where we all get the fuck off our phones. Like, be it for like, try like 4 hours. Take 4 hours when you're not sleeping. Just try to throw your phone in the corner and don't do anything with it.
Yeah, like meatless Mondays and stuff.
Right,
You know?
there you
I
go.
like that.
I mean, that is something I try and do, especially when
Yeah.
I'm working outside. Like, this is my time. I've got shit to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered. You know, my wife or my kids are in the house or they're outside with me or whatever. So, I mean, the people I really need to talk to
Right
are around me
They'll
or I
get
know
you.
where they are.
Yeah.
And I leave my phone inside or I turn it off or whatever. And it's the greatest thing because I know I'm not going to be disrupted.
We got to start a challenge.
Anti-phone.
The anti-phone challenge.
Wi-Fi-less Wednesdays.
Oh.
Perfect.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm just saying we could do something like that. I
It
think we
just
should.
all I know is it needs to have alliteration in the name, or there's no way it's going to be a
It's
thing.
gonna catch
No
on.
notification.
Yeah.
No
days.
bullshit. No bullshit phone day. There's gotta be some. We'll finesse
Yeah,
that one out too.
we can
put-
workshop it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Man, I can't believe you guys.
Sans smartphone Saturdays.
Yes, yes. And
That would be
Saturday,
great.
that's a tough one.
The problem is that I would just destroy the challenge. I'd be so happy thriving in it. Just
Get-
thriving.
I threw my
Gary,
phone away
And
3 days
Gary-
ago,
Hey, kiss my
boys.
grits. Gary wins again.
Sorry, I can't reach out to you because I'm in the middle of a trend. I'm challenging
We'd
myself.
never let you know that you won because we wouldn't be able to get a hold of you.
I guess that's the
We
thing.
can
is how
send
you
smoke
prove you did it.
signals.
That's true. Carrier pigeon,
Send
maybe.
someone by, or just have a monitor on your phone that shows when it's on.
There you go.
Something like that. Man, okay, we got a couple more minutes before we play us out. How are you guys? How are your fingers? You guys ready to
Yeah, I'm gonna warm up.
shred?
They're limber.
Limber up those fingers. So we got put them down for those phones. Parents, love your kids again. Parents, love your kids again. And I think that played into the whole talking about being at events.
Yeah, little Jimmy's winning his competition, and you
Yeah.
don't even look up to see
Right.
it. Yeah.
That's the line. Little Jimmy's winning the competition, and you won't even fucking see him. Something like that. This is good. We have so many
Yeah.
great notes. I'm very excited for this. I have the loss of language, as in guys like this
yes.
guy sending 5-letter texts that are actually a full sentence. Like each letter represents an entire word, and you're
Right.
supposed to know what those
Yeah,
words
'cause
are.
I only know-
TTYL
Yeah,
and
I only know the
bullshit.
old ball ones like
Right.
LOL and TTYL, but there's the ones that what was the one you had brought up, like WTF or something? Or
FTW.
FTW.
Right.
Yeah.
Meant a whole different thing
Yeah.
a few years ago than what it means now, apparently.
The F stands for a swear word that I accidentally. My dad's gonna yell at me. Sorry, Dad, I didn't mean to swear. I just get really
Yeah.
passionate
There's
here.
a couple.
And the final one, and this is just more of a lyric that we wrote down. Our first sort of lyric was, "I don't want to have to read between the lines." And then I, thinking I was smart, I ended it with, BRB,
Yes.
which is again working into those antidotes and
Hypocrisy, like Fat Mike.
that Mike special. As so we have a lot to work on there, and it's been a lot of fun. What people don't
has.
know, if you're like watching this right now, is we've been going since 2:30, and it's 4:53 now. So we put in quite the shift, and I feel like we got a lot accomplished here. So you will hear more about that coming up on the All Out of Angst podcast, which I'm thinking if Network Ryan doesn't kibosh it like he loves to do. He gets so mad because he wants everything out now, and I'm the one that's always slow, so he's going to be really mad at that one. Hopefully this Thursday, I'm thinking, we can release the first 2 episodes of the All Out Angst podcast. If you like what you just experienced here, that's all we're doing. It's awesome. It's just you don't get to see our sweet, beautiful faces. God, we're a handsome trio. Hey, look at that.
Get the Slayer pop.
Look how good we look. Man, that's beautiful. You know, I was wearing my Slayer shirt. Quick story before we get into the pianos. In Scottsdale, Arizona.
Ooh, nice.
And we were down there for a football game with the boys. And we were walking back. We were at Shotgun Betty's, which is a bar. And then right beside it was a little person bar. And so all the tables and chairs were all little. And I sang Gordon Lightfoot karaoke at the little person bar, which
all
is
comes
awesome.
around.
Nice.
And then we were walking back to our place, and there was this huge lineup outside this big club. And we were walking by, and I looked over, it was me and Vern and Stevie and my buddy Aaron. And there was this guy standing there with a camera on him, and he was like shaking hands and talking to people. And I have my effing Slayer shirt on. And so it's all these people in this huge line. And I walk up to one of the people, I'm like, hey guys, like, who is this guy? And the guy looks at me and goes, you don't know? Dude, that's Mikey 360, the hottest up and coming R&B performer in all of the United States. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. So I walk by and I make my way in between all these people, and I go up to him, and he looks at me, he's like, whoa. I'm like, dude, effing love your shit, bro. You're incredible. I give him like the hand down, we throw it in, and I turn around and say, effing love you, bro, and I walk away. And he makes a promo video. And in the promo video for that CD release party he was having at that bar, there's, like, right at the end of it, there's him talking to all these people, and then like it's all of his music and stuff. It's like super like splashy. That just cuts to the audio of just me walking up to him and saying my thing, and then leaving. And there's me with my effing Slayer shirt talking to Mikey 360, like Mr. R&B in Arizona, loving it out, walking away. And as I'm walking away, it was just cut off in the video. I was hoping it would have got in there, but another bar like down the street saw my shirt. So you hear a guy yell, effing Slayer, bro. I'm like, effing Slayer, bro. And it was like the star of this like hype video that Mikey 360
That's
made.
because you have
gonna
wow
find
factor.
this.
It was wild. I'll show it to you guys after. It's
Yes.
hilarious. It's a great video.
Amazing.
All right. Dragon, you want to fire up the piano? Wait for it. Don't you guys go yet. Don't you guys go
I'm just
until
warming up.
it starts going. Wait for it.
Because I'll know exactly when it starts going.
It has begun.
I can hear it in my head.
All right. Watch you guys go. I can't get enough of this. You guys are so into the bit. For God's sake. It's so good. That's it for today. We have gone long, and what a great show. To Uncle Mike, all your national. Hey, is our promo code still going? Promo 20? Promo 20. Use it at Uncle Mike's all natural. Uncle Mike's naturals.com.
Damn 20. Save 20%.
That's the one. Hit him up. Thank you to you for giving us a little bit of time each and every Tuesday. To Matt from all the bands. Man, I love you so much, dude. I just want you to know that. And thank you for being in all the bands and being a part of this little band that we have created. This podcast. And hopefully turn into a little something. God, I'm so agile too, eh? Be a joke. To my main man, Dragon. Thank you, Dragon, for being you, my sweet little prince. He's got a show coming up. His show is called The Viewing Room with LB. It's our producers. They review movies in Forrest Gump. It's coming out very soon as well. So be on the lookout for that. And this show, right before, we recorded the All At Eggs podcast, which you will now be able to hear very, very soon, wherever you find your audio shows. To Margaret, thank you. Love you. To all the sponsors. Commander Cookout Podcast, to everybody. Just thank you so much for being a part of this. The great news. Royal Anders, thank you for making the world's greatest website. And we'll be back tomorrow. Adrian Valarzo is going to be here. He wrote this book. He's here every Wednesday now, so we'll check in with him from Australia. It's going to be a lot of fun. Do not forget, treat people how you want to be treated. Right? We talked about that quite a bit today. As karma is very, very real, and you will notice if you start doing good things, they'll start happening to you. That's how this place literally got that. So, just something to think about as you make your way into your Tuesday evening. I'll be back tomorrow for I almost straight-faced this whole thing. Pretty proud. Like this is, hey, well, Andrew, that's pretty impressive when you say that. So great. Oh. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Great job, guys. Great job.